The Bible Study Podcast, episode 656. Today, the Bible Study Podcast continues the study of the book of Genesis with chapter 12. Welcome to the Bible Study Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Christensen. I'm excited to get into chapter 12 because this is a very different part of the book of Genesis. We start something that is a much more detailed, much more personal part. You may have noticed that in the first 11 chapters of Genesis, we get very little information about the actual people involved. We know about Adam, that he helped name animals, and that he fell from grace. We know about Noah, that he planted a vineyard, got drunk, and built an ark. And that's really all we have about them. And we're getting now into the time of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then on into Joseph, where we will spend much more time with these people and get to know them and get to know their strengths and get to know their flaws as well. And we're going to see that they are indeed flawed. And we start here with the story of Abram. The call of Abram. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So Abraham went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and all the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At the time the Canaanites were in the land, the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he went on towards the hills east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. The Lord sent out, and then Abram set out and continued towards the Negev. And so Abram, at the time that we would normally think about retiring and maybe taking up golf or whatever one does in retirement these days, besides stay at home, which is what we're doing right now, Abram instead is traveling. And he is traveling, and he is at that age called by God. And God tells Abram that you will be a great nation, and I'm going to bless the whole world through you. I'm going to bless you, but I'm going to use you to bless everybody else, not just bless the people who will be your descendants, but to bless everybody. And we, of course, as Christians would look back and say, because God worked through Abram and the prophets and the people of Israel, and then that leads to Jesus, who blesses everyone. And we would see it through that lens. Abram obviously didn't have that information. He's just told that that I'm going to bless you. And the interesting thing with that introduction is it doesn't say anything about why. It doesn't say, "Abram, you've been a good boy. Abram, I'm pleased with your character. Abram, I like what you did there." It just says, "Go, and I'm going to make you into a great nation." We're going to learn a little more about Abram later on. We'll learn more about Abram's faith. But in this introduction, it is surprising that it doesn't come up. Now, Abram is a man of faith, and we will see that. And God certainly did see that. But God just calls to Abram and says, "Go." And Abram goes. Now, there is the first indication that there is something special about this Abram. And you have to wonder, did God call other people and say, "Go, I will make you a great nation"? And they said, "No, thanks, I'm happy where I am"? Did other people turn down the opportunity? Did God not give the opportunity to others that he knew they would turn him down? I do not know, and it doesn't really say. But he comes here to what will become eventually Israel. And he is told, "I'm going to give this land to your offspring." And then it continues, Abram in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while, because the famine was severe. And he was about to enter Egypt. He said to his wife Sarai, I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me, but will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you. When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was a very beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. He treated Abram well for her sake, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram, what have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go. Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. This is an odd episode in Abram's life, and I said that there are flaws that we will see in Abram, and this might be one of them. We see the thing that Abram does wrong, which is he causes the Pharaoh and Egypt to get cursed because he is afraid that they will kill him because his wife is so beautiful. And it's cool that he thinks his wife is beautiful, and I understand why he might be afraid. What it tells us of Abraham is that Abram is not that powerful, at least not at this time. We will see later on that Abram acquires more things and more people and more followers and more servants and more power. But Abram is not that powerful. And this is, oddly enough, not the only time this is going to happen. So the other flaw that we will see is Abram apparently doesn't learn anything from this experience. But he takes his wife and he says, pretend that you were my sister, because then they will not kill me, and instead they will bless me and give me stuff. It is an odd story, and it's odd, of course, that that's where we're starting, of course, but we're starting here because it's one of the first thing he does, and we're now in a portion of the Bible where we're telling the story chronologically. And so we get Abram called, Abram told, this is your land, and then Abram pretending his wife is his sister and apparently letting his wife go be the wife of Pharaoh. Weird story. And this is going to be true in a lot of different places in here. We're going to have God interacting with Abram, and then we're going to have Abram did this, and it's not going to involve Abram prayed and said, what should I do? Or not being involved, God told Abram afterwards, you shouldn't have done that. It's just part of Abram's story. And not all of Abram's story will be tied into his faith. And I wonder if that's part of the problem. I wonder if we sometimes live that way as well, where we have our faith and then we have our story, and the two don't always tie together. We don't take into account how it is that we act, what it is that we believe in outside of our faith, and see that they are consistent. And that certainly seems to be kind of an issue here with Abram. But again, we're going to get a lot more highlights than we will get lowlights. There's a reason why God chose this Abram guy, and we'll see more of that as we continue his story next week. But with that, we're going to end this episode of the Bible Study Podcast. If you have any questions, send an email to host@thebiblestudypodcast.com, or better yet, leave a comment on this episode at thebiblestudypodcast.com. And thanks so much for listening.
Are you concerned about tensions in the Middle East? Do you wonder where we're currently at in the biblical timeline? Are we really in the last days? Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Carl Muller with the Inside the Epicenter podcast. Every week, my co-host, best-selling author Joel Rosenberg and I answer those questions and more. You'll hear inside knowledge of our meetings with leaders at the highest levels of government in the U.S., Israel, and the Middle East, equipping you to filter the news with biblically sound insights. Find Inside the Epicenter on your favorite podcast app, or go to joshuafund.com to listen and subscribe.